Fanatec has just been liquidated, fully liquidated. This is absolutely insane. Shareholders not going to get any money, even the YouTubers who became shareholders. More importantly, what about you and me? What about Fanatec customers? People who got Fanatec warranties. I still use Fanatec equipment. I still use my V3 pedals that I really enjoy. What about the employees, so many of whom I met when I went over to interview Fanatec about all the issues that have been going on? What about this 2-week deadline? In this video, don't worry, in this video, I'm going to let you know what exactly is going on, but I am going to focus on us as customers because I think this is so important. I've gone and looked at the official statements. I've even, for you guys and girls, I've gone and looked at the legal proceedings that have happened today because it all kicked off Friday the 13th. So let's get straight to business. I'm going to let you know what's happening. Corsair, who I reported on, who I spoke to, has acquired the business operations of Fanatec as part of an asset deal. Oh my goodness, this is not necessarily what we expected. This is not the case that the business of Fanatec has been acquired by Corsair. This is an asset deal. And if you don't know what that means, don't worry, I'm going to explain to you. The shares in the foreign subsidiaries will also be transferred. So for the foreign Fanatec companies like in China and whatnot, they're going to go into Corsair, but the main business in Germany is only going to be specific assets. So what is going to go across, what isn't going to go across? Corsair are going to take over all active employment contracts of Endor AG. So there we go. If you're a Fanatec employee, I know it must have been so difficult. I've tried my best to report on this as impartially, honestly, truthfully, but also as in much scrutiny as I can, and that can be uncomfortable. But Corsair are going to take over all employment contracts. Basically, there shouldn't be any, I take from that, redundancies or firings or whatever. Fanatec will be fully liquidated as part of the insolvency proceedings. Fully liquidated. And its stock market listing will be terminated shortly. We know there's been so many shareholders in Fanatec who, amongst other things, haven't liked what I've been doing, my reporting, saying Fanatec's in trouble all the way. There have been YouTubers who were Fanatec affiliates, also shareholders as well, that are now going to lose their shareholding. Crazy. Shareholders should not expect to receive any payments or expect not to receive any payments. I feel sorry for shareholders. I'm not a shareholder in Fanatec or a shorter. I'm not a shareholder in any sim racing company. But, you know, I can imagine what it's like investing in one of these companies and you kind of want it to do well. And then you feel like it's being mismanaged. And I wonder if the shareholders are now going to be very angrily looking at Thomas Jackermeier and saying, Thomas, we trusted you. How have we got in this situation? And Thomas Jackermeier, oh my, we'll get onto all this stuff. The company's real estate remains up for sale. So that means that this is crazy. I don't think Corsair are going to buy the office. And that includes the existing office and also the brand new factory office, famously with a go-kart track on the roof to woo influencers. That remains up for sale. So I think Corsair have said, look, we don't want to take Fanatec, all of it. We only want to take certain bits. And if you've watched this channel, and by the way, if you've seen a few of these, please subscribe to me. So many of you have done. I appreciate it so much. I'm trying to get to 100k subscribers around September. Oh my goodness. If these videos have been helpful, please. But they haven't taken the actual offices. So they've looked at it and said, you know what, we don't want to take the whole company. We just want to pick and choose. What have they picked and chosen? The trademarks. They've already got trademarks. You look on the trademark places where you can see who owns it. They're owned by Corsair. They're owned by Corsair UK. You look at, for example, the patents. You look at other things like that, like designs. They've already gone to Corsair. And I spoke to Corsair about it. I said, Corsair, what are you going to do with these if you don't end up buying Fanatec? And Corsair said directly to me, if we don't end up buying Fanatec, we're going to give these trademarks and designs or whatever to whoever's going to carry on with Fanatec because we don't want to get in the way. It's sort of collateral as part of the money they were giving in because Corsair's already given money to Fanatec. Now, I do think there's a bit of a contradiction here because it says Corsair's going to take over all active employment contracts, but what about if you're someone that manages the building, and Corsair's not taking the building? Are those employees maybe going to have to work remotely or move? I don't, it seems to be, and I've said this before in videos, let me know if you agree, that the thing that has killed Fanatec, the thing that has liquidated Fanatec, has been this new office. And I think the go-kart track on the roof is a bit of a red herring. It seems to be a much bigger office that they want to grow the company into. But ironically, it's just been a stretch too far. They had to borrow too much money. And I wonder if this is a lesson for all of us, like you and me, like literally you watching right now. I wonder if it's sort of a lesson not to like get too ambitious and try and grow too much and take on too many loans and think that the world loves you and it's all going to be okay, because sometimes reality can bite really hard, and it's bit really hard on Fanatec here. So Corsair have been really shrewd, really ruthless. Now there is a 2-week deadline, like I promised I let you know about. I did look at the actual insolvency documents as well from the German court, and oh my goodness, so many people seem to go insolvent in this region. I don't know what's in the water there, but you can see in what I'm showing you here that there is actually going to be a right for an immediate appeal, and that needs to be done within a 2-week period. There is a 2-week period where this can be appealed against. So if you're a shareholder, or if you're Thomas Jackermeier, hello Thomas. I know Thomas said that I caused extreme damage to Fanatec in my reporting, but I think that was just kind of a Thomas Jackermeier-ism. But 2 weeks here for people to complain about it. Now, what happens to us as consumers? What happens about warranties? The reality is, our warranties are with the company Fanatec, right? When you look at your warranty, it's with Fanatec. Now, whether Fanatec's been able to honor those warranties is like, another matter. Let's be honest, they haven't really in a lot of instances, or they've delayed in receiving products, or it's been difficult to even get hold of them. Sometimes the warranty seems to run a little bit earlier, or all this kind of stuff. But because Corsair haven't taken over the Fanatec entity, that entity that our warranties are with is going to get liquidated, fully liquidated. Now you'd imagine Corsair is going to come in here like a white knight and say, don't worry, we're going to honour your warranties, and also maybe we're going to extend them as a make-up, for everything that went wrong. But they might not. They didn't take the office, and in the office, I don't, maybe that's part of the warranty management. It's a really worrying question for me that those of us with warranties, if anyone's just bought a CSL DD or DD Plus or DD Extreme or whatever, and that warranty, this is why I got a lot of criticism when I said, you know what, I didn't even say you shouldn't buy a Fanatec. I said you should really think about it and understand the risks. And this is the risk, that the company that you've bought your product from has been or is going to be liquidated unless it's unless it's appealed, which is absolutely crazy. There is going to be so much more going on this channel. We're going to be speaking to Corsair. We're going to be speaking to all the big players like Thomas, letting you know what's going on, because this is now a proper consumer thing. I think the shareholder investor side has been dealt with. Like, they've had their fight. One side has won over the others. Remember people complaining about hedge funds and everything? It's not a hedge fund, it's Corsair. Corsair seemed like a very decent and reasonable company, and probably if you had to choose a company to take over Fanatec, Corsair might well be on that list. But I think this is now us as customers. So I'm going to fight for us. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to get the answers like I always do for you, and let you know what's going on. So please do subscribe if you're finding this helpful. I know it might be really stressful as well, because these are really expensive products. I spent thousands on Fanatec equipment. Not ashamed to admit it. That's just a fact. I really like my sim racing. That's a lot of money for me. So this is really important and very dear to my heart. So let's follow this story. There's more backstory here, including my interview with the CEO. Go watch it if you've never seen it before. It will explain everything going on here and my answers from Fanatec and Corsair, and I'll see you next time.